I guess today is 16th of March 2025, and this is just a quick video about the movie Brutalist, 2024 by Brady Corbet. I didn't like this movie whatsoever. I was thinking that it's gonna be some kind of an interesting, inspiring story by like a refugee kind of coming to, or like escaping to America and kind of building a life there, and maybe sort of talk about their struggle and things like that. And I was under the impression that it's going to be kind of an inspiration story and shit like that. And we're opening. It's not a particular major spoiler because if you're going to watch this movie, which I actually suggest you don't, you will see that the first thing that a refugee from a war, still like separated from his wife essentially, that was left behind. The first thing that the refugee coming to America thinking is a fucking prostitute. Somebody should jerk him off or whatever. Like, that was so... I mean, I guess it was intentional to kind of build the sort of like a, I don't know, like build the character as if like he's a complete piece of shit, and then over the course of the movie we're supposed to kind of sort of empathize to this person or whatever. But I can't imagine, like in a good conscience, like, how can a person... How can you fucking write this garbage? And there was like so many like kind of a weird fucked up sex scene and sex tension and shit like that. Apparently it was written by a couple, Mona Fastvold and Brady Corbet being a director as well. And I guess, yeah, again, like they're kind of either married or whatever, like living together. And I was actually thinking that it was written by just one person, like a fucking fucking pervert or whatever. Which is some kind of like, I don't know, incel type of fucking person, seriously. Because there have been like studies right now that sort of Gen Z doesn't want to see like sort of sex on screen because, you know, people have access to porn online, wherever. It's not compelling to see that kind of shit. I'm, as a millennial, sort of don't want to see it either, because I also grew up with the internet. Like, we know how it happens. We all had it. Like, we all understand what's going on sort of behind the closed doors in the bedroom. So absolutely unnecessary, really, in my opinion. And I don't know, you can like create a fucked up movie like a Requiem for a Dream, where you like see like people like really spiraling down, like a complete fucked up movie, right? I actually want to rewatch it soon to remind myself, is it as fucked up as I remember it, or even more? But this movie, again, like I honestly thought it's gonna be a story like some kind of inspirational, again, like a person trying to rebuild his life, you know, gonna rebuild, maybe even build his legacy, things like that. But the movie actually like landed, I think, better would be as a 6-part miniseries, to be honest, because it's long, but they don't really show you anything. Like, if you compare like the runtime of this movie with something like an Irishman, which is pretty similar, but in Irishman there's so many things happened, while in this one, I swear to you, I was like halfway through the movie and I was like, fuck, I've already wasted 1.5 hours. I could have watched like a good movie by this time already. And sunken cost fallacy, I'm like, okay, like fuck, I have to finish this shit now. And at the end, again, not major spoilers, but like the characters are gone missing, like no resolution, as if like the writers couldn't like properly resolve like some storylines, and they're just like poof, vanished the characters into oblivion. It's like, again, like I don't know, like I have no, like this is like one of those moments when I'm watching a movie and I'm like completely disconnected with like the audience, because the audience apparently gave this 7.5. I can't even give it like 5.5. I mean, I can, but this is I can't even give it a 6, because like I despise this movie. I really don't like. I wanted to watch this movie because I felt like that's going to be, again, like I like sort of World War II mostly kind of stories, and again, like whatever, like Schindler's List or One Life, you know, like there are a bunch of stories, like amazing fucking inspiring stories, and here I'm watching some kind of a fucked up person surrounded by even more fucked up people. And again, like I supposed to empathize with the character, I'm supposed to root for the character, and the character is being kind of a jerk, and I don't know really much about sort of his like previous life, how he was there, like, and in this life I don't see much interaction between him and like some random people, and when I see him like treating workers or whatever, it's not particularly nice. And like, again, like I don't understand, like I didn't like the story and I didn't like the main character, and so the whole film for me was like It's garbage. It's trash. Like literally trash for me. This is the same level of disconnect when I saw Midsommar, and I was watching. It's like a fucked up shit. Like I understand that apparently that's the whole shtick of that director or whatever, writer-director, who I forgot his name, and I just didn't know about it. I thought it's gonna be some kind of interesting kind of a thriller or whatever, but it's just in fact some kind of fucked up horror shit. And here it was just some fucked up shit. But also Midsommar, I think people rated like 7 or whatever, and I also gave it like a 5. Like really big disconnect in terms of like usually I am pretty in line with like IMDb scores. I'm not a critic when I'm watching a movie. I'm just watching a movie and I want to enjoy the movie. I don't want to fucking analyze garbage or whatever and see everything through like critical eyes. No, I'm an enjoyer. I'm an enthusiast, not a critic. But when a movie comes out like that and I'm like, what people found there? It's the same thing with Citizen Kane. Actually made a review. I don't know if I probably haven't uploaded it yet, but I will. Watching Citizen Kane for the first time. I will link in the description when I will finish it. We'll finish editing it. I was also like absolutely disconnected from the public. Like, what? This is, you think like this is the best movie ever? Like whatever made? Okay, you're crazy. And so here, yeah, as well. Like, I watched, by the way, like one interview with this Corbet guy and with Sean Baker on, I think on Variety channel. And he kind of came out as like a bit of a prick, very like self-indulgent, always speaking, not actually asking a lot of questions of Sean Baker. And yeah, I kind of didn't really, the guy a bit pretentious, quite actually pretentious. I don't know, I didn't like the guy, I didn't like his movie. I will give him one more try. There was a movie he made previous, something about the childhood of a leader or something like that. I will give that movie a try because it sounds interesting, like the premise or whatever. Maybe he's done a better job there, but this one, no, absolutely do not recommend this. Again, I can't even give this movie a 6 because 6 means I enjoyed it. It was just not great, really, not like groundbreaking or whatever. This one, I didn't like it. Like 5.5 is the max that I can give this movie, because once again, like there is a guy escaping from war-torn Europe. At the end, they kind of imply that he escaped or he went through actual sort of Auschwitz sort of prison camps, but I don't know like if it's true. Like I didn't like understand that kind of a part. Maybe it was just kind of implied that he knew about them. I don't know. I didn't get that point because I felt like he escaped before that kind of stuff a bit earlier, and he didn't actually went to actual like camps. But at the end, it felt like they implied because he knew like the architecture of the cell, that where he was and shit like that. But yeah, again, like that kind of a portion also kind of was like a bit weird and mysterious to me, or whatever. But my point is that right now there is the biggest fucking war in Europe since World War II. And what do you think? Some like a husband who somehow like left women behind, somehow sort of first thought when arriving to whatever, like Poland or something like that, is to get a fucking prostitute, and then like not thinking all the time about woman, how to get her out of there or like how to send help. And there were like just a few kind of moments about that in the movie. And again, like I just don't understand, like how can you go into such kind of a deep and sort of really powerful topic as like literal war, and then you almost don't acknowledge it, and it's just like sort of completely on the background. And also it's kind of weird once again, like the fact that again you're escaping as a man but the woman left behind. Again, as we see in the war in Ukraine, men actually send their women out and they stay and kind of and fight. Or at the very least, like, you know, that they always think about that, like the support, how to navigate all that stuff, like, and whatever. It's like, I'm just so perplexed. Like, the movie is written by a person, it feels to me, or by people, by duo that never experienced wars, never fucking read anything about wars, never even apparently saw anything about wars, and don't pay attention to what's going on exactly fucking now in the world, in Europe. No less. I can't stand this shit. I swear, like this visceral kind of a reaction to a movie is like really rare for me. Usually I try to watch pretty good movies, to be honest. Again, Midsommar was the last film I gave like 5 stars, and the rest I'm watching is like, you know, 7s or whatever, like 6 strong 6s, whatever. But this movie is like just like you're watching, it's like, what in the fuck is this shit? And I understand, oh, like this this kind of a power dynamics between rich person trying to sort of own essentially this artist and whatever. Okay, but it's kind of so, in a way, surface level. Also, Guy Pearce's performance, I don't know, he looked like, for some reason, like Brad Pitt in Inglourious Bastards, and a mixture of Fletcher from Guy Ritchie's Gentleman. That kind of a weird mixture of like a pretentious prick and sort of like a self-indulgent kind of a self-aggrandizing kind of I don't know, like, I mean, we don't supposed to like that person, I get it, but I don't know, it was weird to watch that kind of a performance. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. I didn't like it. Simple as that. So yeah, 5.5, and that's the most I can like squeeze out of myself. I have a few notes, like it would have been more interesting, like, well, first of all, if it was like a mini series, to have like a more time and stuff like that, but also to explore sort of more projects of Laszlo, maybe how he managed this, how he managed that. Instead it's just like one big thing, then cut, fade to black, whatever, next sort of thing, nothing in between, almost no interaction with people, not really seeing like how maybe he wasn't, the Jewish people, like immigrants, wherever, wasn't like that welcomed in general in America. Like, could have explored that theme way more. One good scene was there. One good scene that I was like, wow, that's a good scene. Again, it's not a major spoiler or anything like that, but they were sitting at a small table for people and discussing that now, like, there is like the Jewish state, the Israel is created, that we want to relocate there because we're not welcomed, you know, here in the United States, and we have our own home. That kind of, I don't think much about that, but you know, a lot of Jewish people did think about that, especially at the end of the war, right? Like, or, you know, after, several years after, that finally they have their homeland. And that was pretty powerful. On an emotional level, like, that scene was like, yeah, wow, like, I never thought about that, but how fucked up is that the Jewish people literally didn't have their own country, and how powerful it would have been to feel like, oh, like, we actually have a home now, we can actually go home, even though it's like a country where, a place where you've never been even. I think that was a really powerful scene. It was like very sort of simple, under the radar, but to me, like, it felt pretty powerful, to be honest. Besides that, again, like, no. And also, it doesn't help that I don't like brutalist architecture. I think it's an absolute fucking shit stain on the humanity, on the architecture. Looking at all of the beautiful stuff, like in wherever, in Europe in general, right? Like in Italy or Spain or wherever. And then seeing the brutalist kind of this like fucking I mean, it doesn't help that I grew up in the fucking Belarus, in dictatorship Belarus, and I have these blocks of concrete everywhere to look at. And I'm literally recording and looking at the fucking school. There's like a concrete block, whatever, garbage. I just hate that shit. It's not beautiful. It's very utilitarian. And even though it's utilitarian, I'm literally looking at the tiles sort of falling from the facade of the building. Nobody gives a fuck apparently about that. Nobody's fixing that. It's garbage. I despise it. I don't like it. So yeah, brutalist architecture is not for me either. Yeah, overall, really didn't like the movie. Really don't fucking understand how the fuck it gets so much praise or whatever. The story is pretty shit. The characters are quite unlikable, and I just don't know what I was supposed to enjoy there. Just wasted a lot of time of my life. Do not recommend, do not waste your time. Alright. I have a Letterboxd account, so if you want to follow sort of my reviews of other movies, again, I don't know if I'm going to be posting reviews of each movie that I watch, but I will try to post more reviews on Letterboxd. So if you want to sort of know my taste, so I could maybe like recommend some nice movies to you that you might enjoy, yeah, follow me on Letterboxd, or at least like check out my page. I'll put all the links in the description, and yeah, thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Comment down below, how did you feel about Brutalist if you've watched the movie, or if you haven't watched the movie, will you after my review? Alright, take care. Bye bye.